context, that of Israel and Palestine. And we would like now to invite Robbie to share something of her story.
I want to thank you for this environment of feeling safe. It's, I look around and I sense the pain that we all share, but nevertheless, we are safe with each other. And for me, that is a huge benefit of being with you all. So thank you for that. The letter that I'm going to read you is the letter which I wrote to the family of the sniper who killed my son David. This for me is one of the most difficult letters I will ever have to write. My name is Robbie Damlin. I am the mother of David, who was killed by your son. I know he did not kill David because he was David. If he had known him, he could never have done such a thing. David was 28 years old. He was a student at Tel Aviv University, doing his master's in the philosophy of education. He had a compassion for all people and understood the suffering of the Palestinians. He treated all around him with dignity. David was part of the movement of the officers who did not want to serve in the occupied territories. But nevertheless, for many reasons, he went to serve when he was called to the reserves. What makes our children do what they do? Do they not understand the pain they are causing? Your son, by now having to be in jail for many years, and mine, who I will never be able to hold and see again, or see him married, or have a grandchild from him. I cannot describe to you the pain I feel since his death, and the pain of his brother and girlfriend, and all who knew and loved him. After David was killed, I started to look for a way to prevent other families, both Israeli and Palestinian, from suffering this dreadful loss. I was looking for a way to stop the cycle of violence. After a year, I closed my office and joined the Parents Circle Families Forum. We are a group of Israeli and Palestinian families who have all lost an immediate family member in the conflict. We are looking for ways to create a dialogue with a long-term vision of reconciliation. After your son was captured, I spent many sleepless nights thinking about what to do. I have now come to the conclusion that I would like to try to find a way to reconcile. Maybe this is difficult for you to understand or believe, but I know in my heart that it is the only path that I can choose. I understand that your son is considered a hero by many of Palestinian people. He is considered to be a freedom fighter, fighting for justice and for an independent, viable Palestinian state. But I also feel that if he understood that taking the life of another may not be the way, and that if he understood the consequences of his act, he could see that a non-violent solution is the only way for both nations to live together in peace. I give this letter to people I love and trust to deliver. I do not know what your reaction will be. It is a risk for me. But I believe that you will understand, as it comes from the most honest part of me. I hope that you will show the letter to your son, and that maybe in the future we can meet. Let us put an end to the killing and look for a way, through mutual understanding and empathy, to live a normal life free of violence. I wanted to acknowledge Nadwa, my Palestinian partner. Nadwa and Ali, two members of our group, delivered the letter to the family. Needless to say, they really were very surprised, and I think it's the beginning of my understanding of the cycle of violence, because I discovered who the sniper was and who his family were, and that he, as a little boy, had seen his uncle killed very violently in front of him, and that in the second Intifada, another uncle died, and a third uncle disappeared. And so he went out on a path of revenge, and he killed my son, plus 9 other people.
The response of after the letter was delivered?
They said they would write me a letter. I'm waiting. Ali went back to see them a second time, and they said they would have to consult the elders in the village, and I hope that they will.
Do you want to meet him?
I think it's a process. I think I should meet. I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to know exactly how I will behave. How do I know how I will behave?
How long ago was it?
It's not a year yet.
It's a short time.
The trial is still on, because this young man killed 10 people on the same day. I don't know if he will agree to even see me. And it's not something I will do on my own. It's together with somebody who will mediate.
What's the hardest part of the present for you?
The hardest part for me is living in a country where I'm responsible. I'm part of a system. Understanding the need for Israel to exist, but nevertheless wanting to live in a moral country, not wanting to be part of a system of occupation, not wanting to be part of the violence, and understanding the terrible consequences of the violence.
What enables you to go on? Do you see signs of hope?
You know, when I look into the eyes of kids in schools, and when you see suddenly a glimmer of understanding of the other side, because after all, these Palestinian children have never met anybody out of uniform or somebody who isn't a settler. On the other side, these Israeli children have never met a Palestinian. So yes, the Parent Circle, for me, is the most effective peace group that I could be working in, and I'm very grateful that they exist.
Could we just keep some silence to honor the two sisters who have come together, and for the pain and the journey and the hope